What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Founder Academy. Got the Vancouver Canucks hat on, guys. I'll take it off because it contrasts with the yellow, my shining shirt, my fantastic shining shirt. Great movie.
Hi, Lloyd.
Yeah, Vancouver one win away from making the playoffs, I guess you'd call it, in this like kind of makeshift NHL playoff that they got going on. But I got to support the home team, guys. Got to support Vancouver. You know, those are my boys, so I was very proud of them today. Huge 3-0 win over the Minnesota Wild. Sorry to everybody from Minnesota, but, you know, got to support the team, right? That's my team, and I got to ride or die with them. But that's not what you guys are here for. You're here for FIFA stuff, right? So let's start talking about FIFA stuff. And let me rant about the SBCs. What is going on? You guys saw what I had to put into this SBC. This is the double 89. I put in my untradeable Marcus Rashford team of the season, my untradeable Jordan Henderson team of the season. I put in my only red that I got that was usable all year, Adama Traore. Now I've only played like three what are they, weekend league FUT champions, you know, weekends this entire year. So it's not like I had the most opportunities, but like, look, I've got one card that was usable, and he's not even usable anymore because Dan James, that objective that was like an offline objective, you know, made him irrelevant. So I've told people not to do these. I still stand by that. Don't do them. The only reason I did this, guys, it makes me a hypocrite, I guess, by saying this, but like the only reason that I even did that was because it's so late in FIFA that, like, you know, I was prepared to take an L on that, but I just, you know, I'm proving this. I'm not one of these guys that will say, I'm doing it for the content, I'm doing it for you. I think people are full of crap when they say that. We do it for the content so you don't have to. I open packs so you don't have to. Like, I don't care if anyone else opens packs. I want to open packs. I care about me, not your team, your 20 million coin team. I care about me. But yeah, I don't recommend doing it because that's what you're going to get. You're going to get garbage. It's absolutely ridiculous how much crap are in these. I looked at the potential of getting one of the special cards, I guess you'd call them. Like, they had team of the seasons all over the place. There were some future stars and some headliners, and it wasn't even headliners, so it was like future stars and FUT birthdays and shapeshifters and stuff like that. But so many team of the seasons, some unbelievable cards in there, and they screwed us so hard. Well, they screwed me really hard, and the amount of people that I saw open up 89 packs that were getting Ter Stegen and De Gea, Ter Stegen and Koulibaly, you know, it was just crazy. I saw more people get 2 rare golds than I saw people get any team of the seasons. Like, it's criminal, honestly. It's at the point now where I almost submit, like, I dare say it's literally a crime. It's a crime. Like, they should be charged for theft because that is absolutely absurd. It is crazy. It's a scam. It's a fraud. Call it whatever you want. I was pissed right off, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I was pissed off. Even though I'm the first person to tell you not to do these, you know, I did it just to see. And a lot of people do it just to see. I get it. But, like, I know better. I know better than to do that. That's what pissed me off. And even at the end, you know, I got that Andre Gomez. So I was prepared to use him in SBC because I don't care about him. And then we ended up getting in the guaranteed team of the season, we got like that Hamdallah or whatever, like the 92. So they were just sitting my club. So I tried doing the 86. You guys will see that at the end. You'll see what I get in the player picks, where you get 5 cards, so 5 opportunities to get like a blue or something like that. Like, these guys, they're just scams, right? Like, this is just a total scam. EA, as time has gone on, they have done this more and more and more, where they are trying to encourage people to put like these high rated teams, and they're trying to control the market, and it's just becoming nothing more than you know, a crime. It's basically just criminal, like what they're doing. It's awful. You know, they're getting people to use their hard-earned money or their hard-earned time that they've invested in these things that do not return investments. Like, I don't understand what they're doing. It's August, and you're like giving people crap. Like, there should be no gold rares in there, none at all. It should be special cards, 89 or above. You know, you could give people Pelés and it wouldn't even matter. And this FIFA 21 content, where they're just like, oh yeah, 5 games of 500 plus coins, like, that's not even going to move the needle. People are going to have 1 million coins within the first day. Like, you could literally give a free 50k pack to every single person. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to move the market one bit. What, one person is going to get a Ronaldo, one person is going to get a Neymar out of like 1 million people. Like, it's so stupid, man. You're not going to pack anything. Like, gold 50k packs, your chances of getting something are astronomically low anyway. So what's the difference? And they're like hoarding all of this stuff because they want people to play. And I don't know, maybe because I'm still playing in August that it's working in their minds, but I just think it's absolutely absurd. Like, it is crazy. And I'm sorry, guys, I know I'm ranting here, but those SBCs, they're fraudulent. Like, they're a total scam. And I think, you have every right to be pissed off at EA for that. So, it is what it is, right? I don't blame people for being upset. I was upset, and I've seen people put in some crazy stuff and get nothing. They're all getting like 90s and 91 rated gold rares, like goalkeepers. It's just crazy. It's stupid, right? So, EA deserve all the abuse they're getting. All their guys, their development team and stuff like that are coming on Twitter, and they're like trying to answer questions, and they're complaining that people are abusing them. Well, no wonder they're abusing you, right? Like, I don't encourage trolling, I don't encourage abuse of anyone, but like, can you really blame people for being mad? Like, they act like they're the victims. Like, no, you guys are creating this frustration. There's games that are coming out, like this new Fall Guys that came out. Simple game, you're just going in there, you're having fun. FIFA, I don't remember the last time FIFA was really fun. Like, I really don't. It's almost feels like just work. Like, these games feel like they're work to play. And I'm playing in Division 7 in August, and the only reason I'm playing is because I'm trying to build the channel here. And, I hope this doesn't come across as, like, moaning and complaining, because I'm sure it is. But this is just me, speaking from the heart, guys. Like, this has been painful to play most of the year, right? Like, it's skill-based matchmaking, it's competitive gaming, it's must-win games. Like, there's nothing fun about FIFA anymore, FIFA Ultimate Team. There's nothing fun about it. Even, like, the most enjoyable part, which was, like, team building, you invest your money and your effort and your time into building and giving away cards, and you get nothing in return, right? Like, some of the objective stuff, I like that. I think that's a really nice move from EA, but I don't think it offsets the amount of awful crap that they have done, especially with the SBCs. Like, they're just terrible. Like, the return on investment and time for what you're having to put in is god awful. It's really terrible. So anyway, that's my feeling on it. Like, I really hope they change it, but I won't assume that they will, because their profits have gone up. The amount of time and effort people have put into this game has gone up. People are playing more and more FIFA because the audience is growing. So in their mind, nothing is wrong with the game. They don't think anything's wrong with it. If anything, they probably think that, yeah, this is the best FIFA we've ever done. Look at the numbers, right? And I can tell you for a fact that, if somebody who works in marketing, somebody who's dealt with analytics, like, that's how they're going to gauge this. They're going to gauge the time in game, the amount of games played, the amount of money and revenue that they're generating, all of that stuff. All those metrics are higher and higher every year because more people are playing. So in their mind, there's nothing wrong with the game. And maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just me complaining. But FIFA used to be a lot of fun, and I don't think it's fun anymore. I haven't enjoyed it in a really long time. And that's unfortunate because, it's something that a lot of people are very passionate about, and they want to be able to enjoy this game. But when it feels like work, that's something that there's no metric for EA to measure that. So anyway, guys, that's my long-winded rant for the day. I usually go on one at least once a day, right? At least once per video. So that's my one for today. But what you guys are seeing in terms of the gameplay is Division 7 gameplay. We're still in Division 7. I'm still trying to unlock, the FUT Champs, the Weekend League stuff. It's even more painful in Division 7 because you only get 40 points a win or something like that. So I think even right now I'm at 1,800 something. I still need to get about 1,200 more points or 1,400 points. That's about 4 more games. So we do have to go back in. I think I'm in Division 6 now. And these opponents aren't terrible, right? They're not great, but they're not terrible, right? Like, they're very easily beatable. Even when I'm going down 1-0 or something against some of these guys, I still feel like my team is doing what I need them to do because I'm winning games. And, I'm not going to get into morale handicap issue with this, but, when I've won games, my team is playing pretty crisp and the gameplay feels fine. The first game we ended up winning, the guy quit out. The second game we were up 2-1, and I think the guy just... I think he just DC'd because he was running around the back with his defenders. And usually when guys quit out or something like that, the player will kind of stop and he'll just kind of jog for a little bit. The guy was mid-stride and he just quit out, or he just canceled out. The game play just dropped. I thought it was me, but I don't think I've had one DNF one DNF like all year. So I've been very lucky with that stuff. I don't know if I'm close to a server or what the issue is, but here in Toronto, I've been very fortunate in terms of connectivity. Sorry, I'm having a tough time speaking today, guys. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with connectivity. I haven't, dropped out of any games, at least that I remember, maybe one or two the entire year. But for the most part, everything's been very solid. So I've been very fortunate in that sense. This third game, this guy wasn't a great player. I don't remember why I was being, toxic in people's minds and like running around celebrating. He must have been doing something. I think this was one of those guys that kept pausing it. And I don't know if he was messaging me or what he was doing, but he must have done something to piss me off. Like normally I don't really care about celebrations. I usually just skip out, but when somebody's like frustrating me, I'll celebrate like a goof, right? I'm not running around shushing them unless they were shushing me. That's to me the most toxic one. But if someone just runs and celebrates, I don't care. Like who cares? It's just a celebration. It's in the game. Like don't get mad at me. Don't get mad. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? It's just in the game. So we ended up winning that game 3-0. Guy quits out, and then we come up against this guy. Control Alt Delete. Good name. Really like that name. Some strange choices though, is he's got like a left back playing left wing. He's got his Nelson Semedo at center back. And I know this game very well because I could not control my players at all. So I know I didn't want to talk about like handicap, and I don't want to say like this was a handicap issue. I don't know what happened. I'm actually looking for your guys' feedback on this, but how many times have I said when your team is playing poorly, they hit posts, as you guys saw there, they run offside, which is what you're going to see here. Like you guys just see like Sergio Aguero just sprints offside as fast as he can. That happened a ton in this game. Even there, like my players running into each other, like no offense to this guy, and I'm sorry if he ever sees this. This guy was not a great player, right? He's a Division 6 guy. Not terrible by any means, but far from good. And I'm not saying that because I ended up losing this game 2-0. I'm saying that because I know when I've played against a really good opponent, I can tell guys that are really high skill and they beat me down. This wasn't me losing to this opponent. This was just me losing to the game. Like I couldn't control my players. My passes were going all over the place, and it wasn't like a decision-making thing. It wasn't like you didn't defend that well, but like you'll just see like watch guys just warp through tackles, and like even there, that's a perfect example. Like he wasn't trying to be really good. He was just, he couldn't work his way out of it, so he just hit shoot, and it just bounces off my defender and goes out for a corner. Like it's just crazy stuff. Like even here, like I read that tackle, he just warps through, my player's in a terrible position, and my keeper doesn't stop it. He like knocks it out and almost goes out for a corner. Like I just had no control. Like he's getting all these bounces. My players are playing like crap. The only thing that I can think of is that this guy must have been playing some tactic here. But like even there, I wanted that ball up to I don't know if that was Alexis who was playing on the left or if it was Dybala, but I wanted that ball up. Instead, it plays it to Sergio Aguero, who's offside. There, not the pass that I wanted, but whatever, it finds its way. But even here, like I read that, right? I read it. I get in his way twice. He still manages to play the lob through ball. Both of my defenders bite up, and then he's through on goal. My keeper's in a perfect position. All he's got to do is stand there. Instead, he falls over. Like, watch what he's doing here. He just literally falls over. And the guy just took the most feeble shot and just went over him and just kind of rolled in. Like, I'm just thinking, what is going on in this game? This was just one of those games where, again, you guys can say whatever you want. I'm not going to blame things, guys, but just draw your own conclusions, okay? Literally, I don't want people yelling at me saying, oh, you're just mad that you lost. Like, the proof is there. If you guys think that this guy was just an amazing opponent, I know that I've, like, cut the footage. I've edited it, but I edit it in a way where I literally just I show every scoring opportunity. I don't bias it, but even like with the stats and stuff like that, I had one shot on net. Like even against the best opponents I've ever played, I'm still getting a couple shots. I'm able to generate some offense. No shots against that guy. He wasn't even a great player. He wasn't a great player at all, man. And I don't it was just the game. I couldn't control my players. They were just all over the place. They were on ice skates. My passes weren't going to anybody that I wanted them to. I couldn't tackle the guy at all. Like it was like he was just cutting back and forth. My players were just doing this. They weren't locking into any tackles. They were just running all over the place. Like it was really frustrating to play. And I'm not mad at him for winning. You're trying to play to win the game, so it's not his fault. But this is where I've just been so frustrated with this, and I got even more angry because that afternoon I was reading a a Twitter thing where the EA producers were on there and they were talking about gameplay. And somebody asked them, he goes, when are you going to get rid of DDA? And they just go, there's no such thing as DDA or handicap or scripting. And they're just talking about how every decision is just, we make an authentic game and everything is random number generated. It might give the impression that something's wrong, but like there's no such thing as DDA. And I'm just like, I think, with all due respect, you're insane if you think that there's nothing that gives the impression of like an in-game momentum. Like there's no, like if you just think that everything in this game is just 50-50 and it's just totally fair, I think you're crazy. You don't have to believe in scripting or handicap or momentum or DDA, even though I do. You don't have to believe in it. But if you really think that this game is just totally, every game is just totally fair, just the better team won every game, like I honestly think you're insane. Even the biggest detractors of the idea of handicap, and I won't name names, but there's some big like YouTubers and Twitter guys and stuff like that have huge followings, and they always just say, like, they were EA apologists in that thread. They're just like, oh, people are only, they only use this as an excuse when they lose games. And I just go, okay, then I don't ever want to hear you guys complain about bad gameplay today. The game's not playing good. This game is just in the mud today. That is stupid, okay? If there's no such thing as a handicap, that's just as dumb as you saying that gameplay is bad. So I hope that you guys just want to say that, oh, every game's fair. Be my guest. If that's what you want to believe, then you should never, ever complain that the game is ever working against you, because every game's fair. So if that's what you guys want to believe it. But I just think it's absolutely insane. Like, even this game that I came up against here, like, my team was playing really sluggish, and they were still hitting some posts. They were doing some dumb stuff. I don't remember if this was the exact game, but like the game right after, this guy scored a goal, right? And like he was actually not a terrible opponent by any means, but like my team came out and they were already starting to just get dropped a little bit. Like they were doing some dumb stuff. It was just basically the quality, you know, I sound really arrogant saying this, but it's the quality or the level of my play that was just above his that allowed me to kind of fight through that. Right? And I know people will get mad at me and saying like, oh, it's a really conceited thing to say. I'm not trying to sound conceited, guys. I'm not at all. I don't think I'm the best FIFA player by any means, but you guys need to remember, I'm playing in a very lower division that I did in order to complete an objective. I'm not here to just beat up on poor opponents. There you go, right? Just hitting crossbars, hitting posts, guys doing dumb stuff, right? So you got to really work your way through it, but I was able to generate enough chances that I could score goals. So, you know, 4-1, it might have been worse if I was playing in a game where I wasn't getting kind of like scripted or handicapped or whatever you want to call it, where my team wasn't playing sluggish and dumb after a loss, right? Because this game, they were just dropped a little bit. They weren't too bad. They were still very playable, but I was just fortunate that I came up against an opponent that wasn't really a great quality of opponent. And by the time that I was able to like score a couple goals, the in-game momentum had just totally shifted my way to the point that, you know, you can see there, right? Like his guys aren't making these dumb blocks that he would have normally. They're not, you know, completing these once in a lifetime passes across the field and stuff like that. But again, who knows? Maybe his team is getting handicapped, which is why they were playing so poorly. I have no idea, right? All I can tell you is that my team were playing poorly at the start. And once I got a couple goals in, they just felt like they were fine, right? So anyway, that was what it was. We played 5 games. We went 4-1. We ended up unlocking this Andre Gomez that I just ended up putting in an SBC. I was going to try him out. I think I played him in one offline game. He didn't really feel that special. He's just a 91 rated fodder card. I probably should have taken the Kenny Lala if I knew I was just going to throw him in. But I needed another card for my my fitness squad, which is an EPL team. And we ended up putting him in there for one game. Didn't feel like he was that great, and I just needed him for SBC after. So we ended up playing one game and getting rid of him. But we did unlock I think this was a 50k pack. And, or what did we? Yeah, we unlocked the 50k pack, I believe, as well, because we did the Team of the Year offline stuff. Where you just have to play 3 games. I just played 3 Team of the Year. 3 Team of the Years have to be in your squad, and you play 3 games with 3 Team of the Years in them from the loans, and then you can essentially, all you need is like 2 assists and 2 goals or something like that, and you get a free 50k pack. But again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This late in the year, you know, this is the type of pack you'd get at the start of FIFA 21, right? So if you're telling me that EA can't afford to give you that garbage, then I don't know what to tell you, right? Almost none of these guys would even be usable at the start. Like Dembele, sure. Lucas Vazquez, maybe. Tamori, I think you'll see in a bunch of teams, maybe. Juan Jesus. So it's actually not a terrible pack to start. But look, these guys aren't going to stay in very long. Like, if you would have given me that pack at the very start of FIFA 21, those guys would all be gone within a month, right? You're not going to be playing, or within a couple months. You're not going to be playing them very long. Anyway, I got a hankering for some more games, guys. I thought that I was done for the day, but I was just like, you know what? That loss, it rubbed me the wrong way. I had a little bit of time on my hands, so I just jumped back into a couple more games, and I think we played 3 games, I want to say. 3 more games? There's a couple anyway. It might be 2. But we come up against this guy who's playing, he had a 4-4-1-1 or something like that. Oh, I do recall this game as well. So this game was a really interesting one, actually. So this guy was probably the best opponent that we played the entire day. So this game, I'm going to end up spoiling the result here. But this guy was a decent opponent. He actually knew how to play the game. I don't know if he was deranking or if he had actually just dropped down to Division 6, because like I said, you get a couple guys in Division 6 that actually drop down. That is really stupid, by the way. I've started to do that a lot more, is put guys on the line, and twice in this video you guys have seen me actually like stop goals from the line where the guy's beating my keeper. I'm shifting the keeper over to one side, moving a player over to the other, and you cover almost the entire net. So it's really idiotic. But yeah, this guy was a good player. That Maradona, absolutely insane. I love that Maradona card. He's so good. We'll come back to him in a second. But yeah, this guy was a decent opponent. We end up going up 1-0 after a really nice through ball from Sergio Aguero finds Maradona. This was my fault, this game. We end up losing this game 2-1. I had a couple chances, which you guys will see, mainly in the second half, to kind of break things open. Not a great player by any means, not a terrible player, but a good enough opponent. I remember playing and being up 1-0, and I was taking this guy for granted, because almost every other game I've just been very casually playing. And again, this sounds really arrogant, but I wasn't trying that hard. I was just kind of screwing around, but the opponents weren't great, so I was able to kind of play a little casual. I did the same thing against this guy. I was up 1-0. I thought, I'll get a couple more in the second half. This will be done. And I didn't take advantage of my chances, and then this guy ended up tying it, and he changed his tactics after, I don't remember if it was after the goal or after the first half, but he definitely ended up changing how he was playing. I should have done better here. Fake shot. I should have done the ball drag back, because I would have caught his defender going the other way. But again, that's a good example of just me kind of, I don't know, just being too casual, I guess. Here's another example, right? Like, I have an opportunity here. Should have just taken it with Maradona, opened up and taken a shot. Instead, I tried to pass it through, and because this guy had changed his tactics, his team was playing like absolute beasts. Another opportunity where I squandered. I should have, waited him out, let his defender back up, and then just gone short side with Maradona. But I wasted too many chances, and next thing you know, his tactics were just turned up super aggressive. That was partially bad defending on my part, but also because his team was so aggressive. My player overbit, like he just jumped up into the play, because I was still kind of in attacking, I think. So they didn't defend that properly, and as you guys can see here, the in-game momentum had just totally shifted in his favor, and I couldn't get back into the game. I'd screwed around too much when I had the opportunity to put this guy away, and my team just fell through the floor. Like, it was just a tactical thing. You guys see there, that pass, all of his passes are just finding his players perfectly. That pass that I thought I had with De Jong there just goes right into his player. But you guys can see here, I'm having to kill myself. My passes are like bouncing off of players. I'm just wasting way too many chances. I wanted to play that actually to Aguero, but it forced the pass through to, I think, Alex Telles, who for some reason actually had played left mid. But you guys can see here, the game is just broken at this stage. Like, just dumb things are happening. Passes aren't going to where I wanted. I was screwing up some passes as well, so it wasn't totally the game's fault. But yeah, as you guys can see, that's what happens, right? If you don't put a guy away, you give him a chance, you let him hang around, he's going to end up screwing you over. And as I've told you guys a million times, the DDA in the game, when the guy does the run, that's the 90th minute, right? And plus with his custom tactics, forcing him, like offensively, his players are just absolute beasts. Defensively, my players had fallen through the floor. And you even saw it for yourself. Eder Militao is one of those guys that gets like handicapped really badly when the team falls through the floor. He plays really awful. And he had a chance to just stay where he was and block the shot. Instead, he like backs up and opens up like this and lets the shot go through. So My fault. I blame the game too. I'm not blaming the game, but the game's screwed up. Like, let's be honest, FIFA 20 is screwed up. It's filled with AIDS and garbage. But it's my fault because I know that, and I shouldn't have been screwing around, right? So, again, you guys can get mad at me and saying that I'm just, making excuses, but I'm not making excuses. My own fault. I should have beaten that guy. The first game I blame the game totally because I had no control of my team. That one is just my fault. I just didn't put the guy away, and I should have known that the in-game momentum was going to shift at some point. And when I let the guy hang around, he ended up getting some fluky goal to tie it up. Not fluky. I mean, he deserved to score the goal, but it was my fault for not defending better, not playing smarter FIFA. And then when the in-game momentum shifted in his direction, I still felt like I was going to get back into it. I wasn't expecting him to score a goal, and I left it in the hands of a game that will screw you if you do it. So, right, that's kind of like real football to a certain degree. But it is what it is. It's my fault. So this was the next game we came up against. This guy was maybe the worst opponent we played all day, and I'm sorry, no offense to this guy. I apologize if he sees it. I want to show you guys that clip again. And again, I've said this multiple times. When you lose, when you draw, your team plays like crap, right? So here's a perfect example of that. His player runs offside, which I didn't really notice there, but I wanted to show this or slow this clip down. So I read the pass inside. My player's running away from it, doesn't identify it, not smart, doesn't turn around. He's running away. It bounces off him like a rag doll. I try to read the pass again. Doesn't go in for a tackle, right? So he's just standing there. And then watch me switch over to Mendy. I know he's going to cut back. He's not going to whip in across. He's going to cut back. So I move my player right there. Should have put in a tackle. Instead, he just stands there. Doesn't go for a block either there. That's the type of stuff that I've said so many times are the little things that can kill you in this game. That's what happens when your team gets morale. Even here, I switched to Toni Kroos. The shot goes through his legs. No block, no effort to make a block. Literally just opened his legs and the shot just went through him and he just stood there. Like, they just get dumb. So if you need proof that, look, there's like a morale in the game when you lose, your team plays worse, this is a perfect example. Like, this guy was arguably, not even arguably, he was the worst player I played all day. And I'm sorry. Again, no offense to this guy. I'm not trying to like embarrass anybody, but he was a Division 7, 8 player. Maybe he kind of found his way into Division 6 somehow. But you'll just watch the way he defends like all game, right? Like, he's had multiple chances. Like, a better opponent would have tackled me a million times here, right? But he was just standing back. He didn't know what to do. His player switching was erratic. He was slide tackling all over the place. Like, he just didn't know how to defend, right? Again, not trying to embarrass anybody, but that just shows you who I'm playing, right? But like, look at this, right? I have the opportunity, or I have the ball with Eder Militao, but he's just bumbling around with it, and he ends up turning and running it backwards, so it gives his guy the opportunity to steal the ball, right? It was just crazy, like, the type of stuff that happens when you lose the game. But, even then, like, I just held the ball and just forced the DDA in my favor, right? Like, just slowly break the game down to the point where the sliders start moving up and up and up. You create enough opportunities, you're going to end up scoring goals, right? Like, I just created so many chances against this guy because it was just so easy to attack against him. Like, he just didn't understand how to defend at all. He was just slide tackling. He wasn't closing me down. He didn't even player switch to his defenders. I don't know if he was trying to let the computer defend or if he just couldn't get to the right players, but you guys can see it's just crazy erratic. His defending, it was really easy to play against. I don't think I've had this easy an opponent, I think, almost all year, at least in divisions. The only guy that I would say was easier was the guy that I played in, who had the starter team, the starter bronze team that I played in online friendlies that I beat like 11-1 or whatever, just because I gave him a goal. Even then, giving that guy a goal was really hard because he was just such a poor player. His team was so awful. But as you guys can see, right, like, he just doesn't know what to do defensively. But my team was, there you go, hitting posts, running offside. Like, this stuff, it's not a coincidence, man. It's not a coincidence, right? Like, how many posts have I hit when it wasn't a game that was right after a game that I lost or draw, right? So to me, I like to deal in fact. That's a fact, right? When I've drawn or lost a game, my team run about 10 times more offside. They hit about 10 times more posts. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I don't think so at all, right? Like, it's just insane, right, what I'm seeing. And the amount of people that are just apologists for EA, like, it's infuriating when I read their their Twitter guys like talking about how there's nothing in the game, everything's fine. Like even for this poor guy, like it got to the point where this guy just couldn't even hold the ball, right? Like he couldn't make a tackle. Like his team is not defending very well. They wouldn't make tackles. Like look at that. My player's just now at the point because I held so much possession. This guy couldn't defend me even if he wanted to. Like his players, even when he does read, like there, sort of. I had an opportunity to shoot. Right, ball just bounces back to me. Surprisingly hits the post, but it bounces back to my guy. So it's almost like both of our teams are kind of broken. But like the in-game momentum was so far in my favor that even when I was screwing around and it would bounce off the post, it would just fall to my guy. Like it was just really dumb stuff, right? Like this game is just, as I've said ad nauseum, this game is broken. It's riddled with garbage, right? It's just riddled with it. So the proof is in the pudding as far as I'm concerned with the actual gameplay. Like you guys can say whatever you want. People can talk about how there's nothing in the game code, but I think you're crazy, right? Like to me, just watch this guy. Like he's just slide tackling. He can't make any stops. Like it didn't look like he had control of his players already, and now we're at the point where I'm up 5-0. Like it probably could have been 7-8, 9-0 if my team was playing better and I wasn't so concerned about like just dangling through his entire team. Like I was literally just screwing around. It wasn't very difficult. He wasn't the best opponent, but my team just started to play a lot better, and by the end of it, even though they're hitting posts, the ball's just bouncing back to my guys. So here's a really good example, right, of the quality of defending. Poor guy, he just didn't look like he knew what to do at all, right? Like his player switching was just so far off. He's just diving into tackles left and right. Fake shot there. I really wanted that one. I probably should have dragged. One of the things I really got to get used to is when I'm on those bad angles, just doing like a ball roll and then a shot, I think will just take the goalkeeper off his rails. I've missed way too many chances like from poor angles because guys are expecting me to make the pass, that when I cut in on those angles, I'm just shooting it and the keeper comes out on like a straight line. So I need to ball roll, get him off his rail, and then shoot it underneath the goalkeeper. But whatever, that's for another day. Anyway, so this is that's the gameplay for today, guys. We ended up going 5-2, I think, which probably should have been 6-1, but my fault for screwing it up. Credit to the opponent for abusing the game tactics and doing what you need to do to win, right? Like I don't want that to sound like it's a bad thing. It's actually a smart way of playing, but he did what he needed to do. So we do the 86 rated SBC. It only cost me about $1,000 to do it, which is why I decided to make this, do this, right? Like I got sucked in by some guys saying, oh, this is a crazy SBC. But just like the one at the start, right? There you go. 5 gold rares, not one single special card. So absolute trash from EA, garbage, but that's it. So anyway, that is going to be the end of the video, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, guys, take care. Peace.